of us, we say that we would have been much better if we'd had our parents doing something more appropriate for us. Parenting is one critical aspect of life that we actually do not talk about all the time. I hear people say, if my father had done this, this would have turned out better. Or if my mother had done that, it would have been better for me. Today we want to have a conversation about parenting, especially in our generation where things are very different from before, and how children seeing technology, AI, etc. has parenting become very difficult. We want to delve in how we can help our parents, or parents can help us have a more accurate conversations with ourselves, from parents to children and all of that. We want to have a healthy environment, healthy families, making sure that we grow well and appropriately. Let's take a breather. When we are back, we delve into the conversation. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, today is a great day. We met over 250 women here to inspire them and to empower them. The focus was to make sure that the widows that we have in our society, the single mothers, the women who are bought twins and probably do not have enough on them, the pregnant women that may not be able to go for antenatal, among other vulnerable women. The target was 250, but we reached 271 women. I believe that whatever target that we set and whatever reach that we have been able to achieve has helped a lot of women to become better. It was a day for us to talk as women. They shared their perspective on women economic empowerment, teenage pregnancy, taking care of their children and how they can do better. We danced. We modeled. We had fun. And I believe that seeing these women chill and enjoy themselves at this point, it's something really amazing. So the Martha Inspires Foundation, with support from few of our partners, we had some donations from the Universal Merchant Bank, UNB, and some individual philanthropists who helped us to make this day a success. We gave them bags of rice, bottles of oil, tins of mackerel, some tins of tomato paste. Some got soap, some got Dettol, some got cloth, some got even macaroni, and a whole lot of things. Clothes, shoes, handbags. We were able to distribute to these women, and we believe that they have been able to support us greatly. Thank you to Glow Events for glowing the whole setup for us as well, and to Aki's Kitchen for giving us an amazing time of lunch to refresh and to entertain these women. We really appreciate everything. We are glad that we touched the lives of these women. Welcome back. I'll be having a conversation with Pastor Mawuli Nyado. He's a pastor and an author of many books, and then he's also an academician, if there's a word like that. Yeah, we are looking at parenting in our local setting and the Western setting, or everything about parenting that I believe that it will be appropriate for us to know out there to help parent our children more appropriately. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, that if you've watched the previous episode, we spoke about parenting, but we felt that it's more to delve into that. So picking up from the last conversation that we had on parenting, we see that now we have diverse perspectives. But before then, maybe if you are joining us on the first time listening to this topic, let's go back to the definition or the explanation of what parenting is, or how parenting looks like.
All right, so thank you for having me once again. Okay, so parenting is basically a process of nurturing children, taking care of them, helping them grow to be whom God has ordained them to be. So I love to talk from the biblical perspective, where The scripture says that train up the child the way he should go, so that when he grows, he will not depart from it. So it is taking care. So there are two things. You are nurturing, that means you are feeding, protecting, and all those stuff. Then there is the instruction or training, where you teach or instruct children on the path they should take so that they will be able to fit into society as they grow and discover their passion, discover their purpose, and everything you can think about. It is the responsibility of parents to guide them towards that process. So that is parenting. Okay. It's a process.
It's a process.
Yes.
Now let's delve back to these days. When I say these days, some say what they're Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So how has parenting changed over the times? Maybe it's your time and now, and even now that we've started having children. How has the nature of parenting changed, and how parents can do better depending on the kind of children that they are parenting?
All right. Parenting has changed in a lot of ways. You know, growing up in a traditional African setting, you know, parenting is a communal thing where we have the extended family helping you, and even the community helping you raise your child. That has actually changed. Now it is an individual thing where mother, father, children, nuclear system, and it is the parent, the immediate parent, or possibly the caregivers, be it elder siblings or nannies and stuff that take care of the parent. But so that has basically changed, where it used to be a communal thing. That has changed. That is one basic thing I've noticed that has changed. Then also one other thing that has changed basically has to do with modernity or industrialization. You know, we used to have subsistence farming, and it's a communal thing where we all go to the farm, and now children go to school, parents have to go and look for white-collar jobs, go to the office and early in the morning and come back late. Children don't have access to their parents anymore. So a lot of things have changed in that perspective. Yeah. And now we have social media raising our children, technology, AI, YouTube, but that's what is raising our children now. You know, so those are some basic things that have changed.
Let's narrow it down to Africa or Ghana.
Okay.
What is the perspective of that kind of parenting? You've mentioned, you've touched a bit on that, where the community raised the child, but now it's a bit different. We are still in Africa, we are still in Ghana. What are we missing? Because based on what you've seen, what you've experienced, what can parents do to become better parents, looking at the caliber of kids we are now raising?
All right, so now we are raising, actually, when we were growing up, they say we're paracetamol children. These children are now modioquine.
Paracetamol, I never heard that.
You know, we have chloroquine. And
yes, okay, I think some of us are the chloroquine children.
Yeah, okay, so what is happening now is that the kind of children we are raising now, they are a different breed. They are technologically advanced. Give a phone to a 2-year-old, he or she could navigate through the phone.
True.
Those two of us who were born before computer, we are still adjusting to even using the phone. So that is what has actually, that's the breed of children we are raising now. So children must balance, parents must balance the cultural values or the cultural perspective of raising children to the modern perspectives.
Okay.
And it's very important, because whether we like it or not, once you take your child to school, he or she is exposed to different views, different perspectives, and then is influenced by some of these things that we read in books, we watch on the TV, and everything you can think about. So there are all sorts of influences that are raising our children now, which used not to be the case.
And now in the schools, when kids are on vacation, parents are not happy.
Yeah.
They want their kids to spend more time in the school than at home. And I think that has also increased the, let me say, negative effects on the kids. Unless you have a very good school that also prioritizes cultural values and trying to implement these things on the kids. Now, let's take it one by one. I want us to look at, now things have changed. What is the better way of communication to kids? At first, your mother looks at you and you understand what she's trying to say. at first when a visit, like you are in their home and you are having a visitor, and once the visitor is entering, the atmosphere, you can't sit there. But now you have kids where they are visitors, and you see, I'm like, Charlie, if you were born at, so how do parents, or how can parents communicate effectively with their children to become better children?
Okay, so it's very important for us to know that there's a proverb actually in Ewe. It means it's only the eye you used to speak to a child.
Okay.
So your mother gives you an eye sign, you know that this is what it means. Either get up and move, or if you don't take your time, you receive some lashes or stuff like that. But these days, those things, those non-verbal communications don't help.
Work on children.
Yeah.
You look at like, mommy, something in your eye, but you're trying to communicate.
So you would have to speak and explain exactly what you want them to do, your expectation. Don't assume that because you gave an instruction, they understood it. No. You have to explain and give them specifically what you would want them to achieve. So that is the kind of children we are raising, where a general statement doesn't help. You got to be specific and make sure that whatever you expect them to do, is well communicated to them.
Okay.
So they must understand the instruction and be willing to carry out the instruction.
Okay.
Without that, we are not communicating.
Okay.
Yeah.
We grew up not being friends with our parents.
Okay.
It was basically do this,
Do that.
your school fees, come. You couldn't even hug your parents, unless very, very few homes. But now we are encouraged to build friendship with our children so that they can trust us and talk to us than to talk to other people. How do we build trust with our children so that they can believe what we say? Because sometimes you will tell a child something, they'll be like, no, that's not what my teacher taught me. Or they'll say, no, Uncle Kofi said this. And because they spend more time talking to other people, the trust between parents is lost. How do parents increase trust, communication, friendship, bond with their children?
All right. Thank you very much. One thing that is very important to building trust, I believe, when we do what we call strategic faith development among children, it will help them develop trust. I take my mind back to what God told the Israelites in Deuteronomy chapter 6. So he says that these laws that I give unto you, inculcate them, that means hit them into the life of your children. Okay. And one of the things that I pick from there, first of all, is that he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your soul. What this means is that you must be a role model for your children, that they see you doing what you say they should do, then they copy from you. That is one. Two, when you say this is not right, they shouldn't see you doing it. Three, it is not wrong for parents to admit once in a while that maybe I don't know this, I don't know that. I will go and find out and give you an answer. If you are not able to, if you give wrong answers, you try to, sometimes when we're growing up, some parents dodge questions. They tell you children don't ask such questions, or you are too young to know that. You know, these children are very inquisitive. The ones we have now, they ask all manner of questions. So for you to build trust with them, they must see that you do what you say you do, you act what you say, and also if you are wrong, admit that you are wrong. If you are right, admit that you are right. You understand? So another thing is that when children confide in us and tell us things that are personal, they should have the confidence that this is a secret between I and my parent, and it will be kept a secret. If they should go and hear it from a third party, a fourth party, even their pastor, I don't think I'll trust you with anything secret or anything personal that happens to me outside the home or even inside the home.
Yeah.
So parents must learn to keep some of these things to themselves so that they don't build mistrust in their children. Another thing too is that, you see, as children are growing up, they believe that this is my father, he's rich. Whatever I ask, he will provide. It doesn't matter whether it is a big thing or a small thing.
And they feel their father is the strongest.
Thank you. So if I look at you and I said, I want this, I need this, and you're not able to provide it, there may be a mistrust. So parents must learn to teach children responsibility. That is not everything that they need that they will get. Or anything they want, let me use that, they want that they will get. That's a better choice of word. Whatever they want. Oh, I want KFC, I want pizza,
what they
I
need
want
is
this.
something that they should get, but
basic.
something they want.
You know, so when you're not able to provide that, they may not trust you again. Maybe, oh, uncle is rather able to provide it for me than daddy, you know, all those stuff. So we must learn to break those walls of I want, and I get. No, we
have to
do away.
sometimes deny your kids.
If not, they'll grow up not trusting you that you can provide for them in some specific
But I
situations.
also think that maybe, is there a way parents can create boundaries with other people? You spoke about where the family could raise a child.
Yeah.
But now, once a while, depending on the family you come from, you have one or two people who are all together in raising the children, but that is very, very rare.
Right.
Where, like he said, your father may not be able to buy you that toy gun, that toy what. And one uncle comes in, maybe your favorite uncle, your favorite auntie goes to buy you that thing that your parents are trying you not to have. Imagine buying a 16-year-old girl an iPhone, but the parents feel that even though they can afford it, they don't want to. But you haven't spoken to the parent to see. Do you think that relatives should be careful, or should, I don't know how to put it, like should slow down on trying to be good or trying to be nice without talking to parents?
Look,
because that can affect the trust they are trying to build with
there
them.
must be boundaries. There are things. 16-year-old, if I can't give you iPhone, I don't expect anybody to give you an iPhone.
Okay.
I know I may have a reason why I don't want you to have an iPhone. It is these uncles and aunties that spoil our children, molest them sexually, and everything you can think about. It happens. It is these uncles. If you check any traumatized lady, it is either a house help, an uncle or auntie that has molested them. So we would have to draw those boundaries, what children can accept from relatives. And even, what business do you have providing an iPhone to a 16-year-old?
You can afford it.
No, it's not right.
Can afford it.
No gift comes without some strings
yeah, there are some
attached,
families,
you know.
maybe they're in particular schools where their friends are using
Depending on, I am totally against that.
Okay.
I'm totally against that.
Even if you can afford it.
If you want to give me, you see, always people will always have reasons why they will not hand over a phone or an iPhone to a 16-year-old. What are you going to? What do you need a phone for? If we buy a phone for the house where we can call in when we are out and all those stuff, that is fine. But 16-year-olds should be in senior high school learning.
Yeah.
What do you need a phone for?
Yeah.
What do you need an iPhone for? Very expensive
It's a phone
gift.
for communication.
You
My
know.
my younger sister is 15 and she has a young phone. She keeps saying that, why don't we get it? I said, no, you only need a phone when you are out of the house to call you to know where you are.
You see,
just for communication.
the effect of communication, the effect of technology on our children, it's more negative than the positives.
Okay.
Yes, seriously. The mental development, social development, and everything you can think about. There are 4 dimensions of development. It affects every part of it when it comes to technology. So I have kids. There are times I'm speaking with them and they're on their phones. I don't, frankly, if you ask my wife, I don't give phones to my children. They don't touch my phone. I said, no phone, no TV, and there's no phone, no TV. Go and read. I go out, I'm coming back, I'm bringing books. I'm not buying any toys.
That's because you are practicing it.
Yes, because I feel that it is better to develop personal relationships, spiritual relationship, and everything you can think about, mental development, than wasting our time on social media. Okay, it has negative effects on the children's development, mental development, than it's positive. They may learn to speak, all those stuff, but they learn to they only learn to communicate within themselves Today it's very difficult for people to make call. Ask those in the university, they prefer to WhatsApp
Text.
you or
There
text
are
you
people that
make a call.
say that if you can be texted, why do you call? Well, I get it. Sometimes you can be busy and all that, but I feel that sometimes once you talk on phone, it increases the bond or whatever. But people say, text me, don't call me.
You know, I believe that we are at that stage where we are building walls around ourselves. We are becoming individualistic because of these things. It's my phone, it's my personal stuff, you know. Or it doesn't help us. You have people who are at a social gathering and there's no socialization. Nobody is talking to anyone. We are all on our phones.
Yeah.
And it begins from childhood.
On Easter Monday, I went out with some friends to a restaurant. And we are at the rooftop. I don't want to mention the name of the restaurant. We were at the rooftop. And we were looking down and we saw, just like you said, people were around the table and everybody was on their phone. So a friend of mine was like, Martha, come and see. And I was like, what can you see? And I was like, my mind didn't go there. It was like, you have come out to have fun. But everybody is on their phone. And it happened for a very long time. Like, okay, that's true. We are getting to a place where we don't appreciate the bond that we share.
I was preaching recently and I see everybody on phone. And I'm asking, why are your heads bent down on your phones while I'm preaching?
Sometimes we say we are taking
Then
notes.
they'll tell you that, oh, okay, we have our Bibles on our phones. So, and
but when I WhatsApp can we slide and reply.
Yes. You see, if adults can get addicted to phone, just imagine what you are giving to your kids. You are training them to be, these are self-inflicted phlegmatic melancholy people. You understand? So I don't think it's the best thing we should hand over to our children. So back to your question, I think there should be boundaries as to what children can receive from relatives. If you're going to give my child an expensive gift, let me know. My permission, Let me know. Because that phone may need to be charged. You are using my electricity that is always on and off.
I like that, on and off.
Yeah, doing so. Then you're thinking of buying airtime and data. You see that the children begin to communicate with boyfriends and girlfriends and all those stuff, soliciting for airtime and stuff behind the parents' back, and that is where they lead. Those things lead to them involving in things that naturally you wouldn't have permitted them to be involved.
There was something when I was a child, I liked, but when I became an adult, I realized that it poses a lot of disadvantage.
Okay.
Of visitors giving money directly to kids.
Yeah.
I like when I was a child, I liked, you understand, because at that point I like to take the money myself, and that your parents will say, especially our mothers, oh, let me keep it for you, that never comes. But once you start giving me money when you visit, it becomes an expectation, and things of when you send a child, you give the child money, it becomes an expectation.
Yeah.
Now let me come a bit to the visiting, because you miss the parents at home. I feel that if you have any gift for the child, you can give to the mother most times. Oh, this is the gift for my little nieces or nephews or something. But once you give the money to the child feels entitled. Mama, when Uncle Kofi came, Uncle Kofi gave you my 100 cedis. Where is that my 100 cedis? And our mother will say, oh, all the food you've eaten in this house, have you been paying for it? Or that's on the lighter side. Yeah. But what do you think about it? Well, and the disadvantage it causes between the child. That I want to use the word entitlement.
Yeah, you see, that is what is being heightened today. I, myself, me, my own. That is what is being heightened or being pushed among our young ones today. The entitlement spirit, it's on the rise now. For example, somebody gave my son 20 cedis, 2 10 cedis notes. And the mom bought something. He said, okay, I have one more left. And he made sure that money got finished before he said, my money is finished. Yeah, now I know my money is finished. I'm like, really? It shouldn't be so. You know, when we are growing up, they give you something. You give it to your mom or your dad.
You dare not ask what the money was used for.
Not at all. Okay, if we are teaching children how to manage money,
It's a different.
It's a different thing.
Savings is a different
Savings is a different thing. I think there is nothing wrong with children handling money. You teach them young how to save, things like that is good. But where they use it on themselves, buying toffees that will bring them sickness for you to use your own money to take them to the hospital, all these things, I think it is not right for that to happen. Then also, still talking about the entitlement. When we easily hand over things to children, we are teaching them that they are entitled to everything they desire or they wish for.
Mm-hmm.
2, you are teaching them that it is easy to attain whatever you want to attain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not life. That's not reality of life. So you don't just hand everything to your child because he or she asks for it. I think it's wrong.
I feel that sometimes in an attempt to want to let our children have better lives, we end up making them worse. People say that when I was young, I didn't have ABC, I didn't have books, I didn't have money, and I wouldn't let my children go through the pain I went through.
Yeah.
And we end up spoiling them.
Yeah. You see, there's this research, or something I read some time ago. It said there's a generation that was poor, that suffered, that raised a generation that are better off. Then that next generation raised a generation that are sports braggarts. Oh yeah. So this generation suffered. So well, what I suffered, so we are in that generation where we suffered. So we said, okay, we want to give a better life to our children, and we end up spoiling them. So, oh, daddy, I want this. Because I suffered, I don't want my child to suffer the same. So I hand it over. No. We're taught to work with our hands. We worked for what we got. We had to work to eat. Everything around us was work. So you work and end. This time around, I want DSTV, I want this channel, and hello, well, not in my house. No, seriously, you see, I grew up, and I wouldn't say in a poor home, but it was not that rich. Okay, at least I could eat thrice a day. Sometimes what you eat, only God knows what you eat. I wouldn't want to go into that.
You
My
eat
father,
to fill your stomach.
yeah. We didn't eat. I have my child comes to me that I don't like this, I don't want that. I went to the restaurant recently. We bought food, and then I don't like this one. I'm like, oh God, have mercy on me.
As first, you dare not say that. I remember this time in church, and someone, I don't want to mention the couple's names, and they were talking about what they are going to eat after service, and the children was like, "Daddy, me, I want jollof with chicken. If there's no chicken, I'll know it's eat." And the father said, "Children don't talk like that. Say I want food. When they give
Thank you. You ate what was served.
If there's no chicken, that's like a 6-year-old boy. If there's no chicken, he will not eat the food."
No, so that spirit of entitlement, I think we have to teach our children that you don't get everything you want.
I think it's a key
and there's
thing.
nothing wrong
You don't
with
get
that.
everything you want as a
Even
child.
God does not hand us everything we want.
I wanted to go there. Like
No.
sometimes God doesn't, I use the word, God doesn't mind you. That makes it easier to understand.
Yes.
Because he feels that at that point you don't have the capability to handle certain things.
Yeah, we are God's children, and we have to use God as a model to know that it's not everything that we want. I'm using the word want, not need, that we get. It can happen. As I'm here, there are a lot of things I want.
A lot.
But
have you observed that
God
there are
doesn't give it
times
us.
that you actually get the things later and you begin to appreciate why you got it later?
Thank you. So God's timing is the best. I believe that whatever we desire, whatever we wish for, it is in the womb of time. When it is the will of God, it's birth. At the right time.
At the right time.
Yes.
When God says my time, that's
Yeah.
it. I don't like it when I see it in the scriptures, because God's time can be any time. God's time is never your time.
You see, God teaches us patience and endurance. One of the things, I think we should go back to the old translation where they use long suffering. Well, endurance is just too polished. Long suffering.
Amplified version.
Long suffering. Then you know that you learn to be patient until it comes.
Yeah.
But we don't see this in our children. So I believe that our current generation, my generation, may be failing our children. Seriously.
Without knowing that we
Without
are
knowing.
actually
Yes.
failing them.
So you have a child wake up, first thing, oh, I want phone. I want not
Tablets,
that,
they are games, those tablets.
I want your phone. I'm like, really? You want your phone? My son comes and says, oh, tells the mother, ask for the mothers. Mothers, please. Please.
Let me
please.
take a break and come so you can want the mothers. the mothers are spoiling us.
Please.
I don't
mothers.
think my mother spoiled. Anytime I hear that, I don't think my mother spoiled me.
I beg you, please.
No, me, my mother, she didn't spoil me, cry. It's my father who never beats me, but my mother. Let's take a break. When we are back, we delve into more. Stay tuned. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Inspires, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes. I believe that this episode is helping us to understand that parenting in this age or in this era has significantly changed, because what we saw first and what we are seeing now and what we would see later might not be it. Just as we are adapting to new strategies to learn, to work, to grow, I think that parenting is one aspect that we do not have to neglect. We have to grow very well. And you see, we are not paying attention to that because everybody's busy working. We are prioritizing career, education. I want to have my master's, my degree, my PhD, and all of that. I want to have the best company. I want to get married. And I heard someone say something to me last week that really sank into my spirit. And the person said that marriage is tough. And I was watching a video by my mentor, Henry Giftianti, where they asked her about what marriage was. And the person was telling me something about it, that you can't say you love someone until you have seen them in their worst state. We anticipate to have children who will grow and become great and amazing and all of that. What happens if you have a child who is autistic, who has autism, a child who is mentally unstable, a special needs child, a blind child, a deaf and dumb child? Or you get married to your partner and after 6 months, after 1 year, they have an accident and they lose their legs. What happens if someone, ever since then, I have thought about it. If this guy I think I love so much should have an accident today and lose that fine face probably I'm admiring, or lose his legs, am I sure I can actually be in that relationship or in that marriage? Okay. Moving that into parenting or having children, there are times that we have children who turns out to be different. I go and tell it all and I see a lot of parents complaining that their children are not good academically. There was this story one woman kept that the child is 13th out of 40-something children and she's crying. And one woman came and said that the child was 40 who had squashed, she even prepared chicken and what. So how do we understand the different needs? Everybody wants their children to be first, because parents are not telling us the truth. Every parent will tell you that, hey, me when I was in school, I used to chop first. So let's look at that. What happens if your child do not turn out to be what you expect them to be?
Okay, so your question is compound.
Very compound.
I'll try and speak to the various aspects. Now, beginning with the performance in school. You see, I don't look at the positions in class. You can have someone scoring 90, 95, 90, 80 style, and the person is 13th in class. So I prefer to look at the scores, assessment than the position.
When you move that child to a different place, the person might even be first.
No, what I mean is this. So that school the child is in, there are 47 people, she's gotten 13th position or 15th position. Now, look at the scores. English 90, this math 90. That is the actual performance of the child, not
True.
a position.
True.
So we have to pay attention to some of this.
True.
This a brilliant child getting 20th position because of the number. Maybe so, you know, when you do the cumulative assessment, you see, if there are 10 people who had the same average grade, either with me, they are all first.
Yeah.
So the next person becomes
Second.
not necessarily second.
Okay.
If there are 4 people who are first, the next person is not second. The next person becomes fifth.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So that is how some of these things. I may get it wrong, but when
Yeah,
we're
I'm
growing
told
up,
sometimes
that's
they
what
add other extra curriculum like
activities and all the
to it.
stuff. So I think parents should pay attention to the actual scores than the children position in class. Well, let us pay attention to that. Now, coming to autistic child,
Health,
children with needs and all those stuff. In fact, we cannot all get it right. I always say this. As a parent, you are a caretaker, you are a steward of God's gift to you. So the child that is given unto you, you know. So if you end up receiving an autistic child or a physically challenged child or stuff like that, that is your lot. That's your cross. You may have to carry it. I wouldn't sit here and say it is a joyous situation. I know it is painful. I've had mothers ask me to pray for their autistic children. Sometimes I just ask myself, is this possible that things could change? I have somebody that's very close. I don't want to mention. It's very close to me, who had something similar like that. We prayed about it and it worked. The child is now speaking and stuff like that. So I know it can be challenging. As a city, I can't tell you that do this or do that. But I think those people also deserve love and training. So whatever need that we need to help them, there are special schools that are helping these children now. Let's look for those who are been trained, the therapists who are trained to help them, speech therapists, audio, those neurologists and all those stuff. They can help in this. You see that my tone has come down. It's very painful.
It's very painful because I keep saying that no matter how you know about it, you never understand as compared to the parent.
Yeah, but the basic thing is this: every child deserves love. I always say that the English word love is quite limited. One of the things that keep parents or people in marriage is what I call the practicum love. It's practical love. It is not found anywhere. It is found only in marriage. For example, it's in one of my books. For example, you have a beautiful lady like you. We get married, and then, like the example you gave, accident, deformity, and all this stuff. Will I still love you the same? Would I want to stay with you? You have somebody in a vegetative state for many years. The person has stroke. No sexual intimacy, nothing. The financial responsibilities and things. It takes practicum to stay with that person. And the best example we can give is God loving us in every state that we are in. Whether good or bad, He still loved us. So that practical love is much needed when it even comes to children with special needs. Very, very important. Without that, you may one day try to poison that child.
There was this girl that is confessing on social media now that she went anonymous. She got pregnant, had a child for like 4 or 5 months, and she got the opportunity to travel to the UK. And she can't obviously go with the child. There was nobody to take care of the child, and she killed the child.
God have mercy.
That's a parent.
Yeah.
And so it's taking me to my next question.
Okay.
Do you think we haven't understood parenting well? Because I feel I'm not a parent yet, but there are times that with some people I see as my kids or my younger siblings, there are times that I make certain sacrifices for them, and I want that, like how parenting would be like, having to probably even change jobs, stop working, and just because you want to raise the children. Do parents understand that sometimes they have to deny themselves of some of the things they have to do. Probably, someone said that if you want to know who a mother is somebody whose schedule is according to the child's availability. So if you want to invite a mother, like one of my mentors, if you want to invite her for an event and stuff, she has to check if the child school or whatever will be available for that.
Yeah, you see, parenting is a full-time job, and parenting is sacrifice. I can tell you that once you give birth, your life, everything is centered around a child.
Hey, then that's what some of us God haven't given us children yet.
Everything is centered around a child. Seriously, unless you have means where you're able to get nannies and stuff to.
Even at that, you still need to bond with.
Yeah, but still, you need to bond with a child. So, in fact, parenting is one of the most difficult jobs you can find. So, all the moms around, all the moms, and then those who are in full-time housewife job. God should bless you.
But they are not respected.
But you see, no.
Some housewives are not. We feel that question that when guys ask them, I want to blow them. Like, what do you bring to the table? Like, you can ask a woman that question when she's like at home taking care of the family. So in parenting, I believe that is something that should be more appreciated.
Yeah. We need to appreciate our parents more. I'm using parents, not only mothers. You see, let me tell you something. If I'm a sit-home dad, I may just have to do exactly what my wife is doing. If she were working, bringing money to the family, but caring for children, God has designed women for that purpose.
That's true.
I believe that the gender role of taking care of a child is a female thing. It is not a male thing. Frankly speaking.
Even though men can do it, but we have the specialty.
The specialty. You see, the patience mothers have, the threshold of endurance of pain and stuff, it is higher than men. A woman who goes through labor for 2, 3, 4 times and still wants a child, you can imagine that, Charlie, these guys are, the women are built differently.
I'm told at the labor room, they said they won't give birth again, but they go back.
But they go back, So I think women are doing a wonderful job. I wouldn't sit here and say that they are not. They are doing a wonderful job, and we need to appreciate them for that. I sit in the house with the children for just 2 hours, and, daddy, even the daddy alone sometimes irritates me. I'm reading, I'm preparing a sermon, I'm trying to finish something. Oh, mercy. So, and sometimes it explains why mothers always get angry. It's like they're always shouting and and you hardly hear the men.
I'm told mothers fear the silence of their kids than when they are making noise.
Yeah. That's a fact. Even myself, when the children are doing or moving helter-skelter up and down, then all of a sudden there's a silence. The next thing I'm expecting is a loud cry. If it doesn't come, that's worrisome. So you want to go out and check. So mothers, I think God has built you for that. We can't take that from you. That is why I don't appreciate it when we fight too much for gender equality. In quotation, okay, because there are things that are designed for women. And there are things that are designed for men.
That aspect,
let
that misunderstand the kind of gender equality we are fighting for.
Let the clarity be there. Let it be there that, look, you are a woman, this is your role. You are a man, this is your role. It's just naturally designed by God. Let us not mix the two. Now, asking what you bring onto the table, I think it's a financial thing. That's true. Is this, when women are fighting for the gender balance, gender equality, is the money. So what money? So the question should be, what money? How much are you bringing to the table? And that is in a relationship. As a married man, as a Christian, I know that it is my responsibility to provide for my family, whether my wife works or not. I must make sure there's food, there's water, whether there's doomsday or not, there's light, and there's everything, every basic need. But that is my responsibility as a married Christian man. Whether my wife works or not, there must be food. There must be shelter. Children must go to school. If the woman works and brings some, that is fair
But there are
enough.
some fathers you see who punish their wives. I don't know how to put. Let's say they're supposed to give money to it, like for the upkeep for the kids, and because there's a misunderstanding with in the marriage, they don't do that, and the kids sometimes even their school fees are not being paid.
Okay, well, I can't speak for every man. Those are some foolish men we have in the society. but look at this. You see, mothers, you can edit that out.
Yes.
Mothers, let me say this. Women, learn to acknowledge the men before your children. When they pay the fees, when they give you money to buy things for the children, let them know that it is the father that has given the money for these things to be purchased. Because you see, as I'm here, my wife is with the children. I said, okay, go to town, buy this, buy that. I come home empty-handed because I know I've given money out for things to be bought. Oh, I want ice cream, I want this. And I buy the thing, I give to my wife. She hands it over to the kids. The kids believe that, oh, mommy, thank you. You know, that we don't receive that. So let it be known that it is your father that has done this. Okay. Women must learn to do this. If not, you see that children grow up celebrating the mothers more than the fathers.
That's how Mother's Day we are making so much noise.
Look,
Father's Day, nobody hears about it.
I say this. The man carries the burden of the family. The woman, the children and everything, but the children don't see this. Look, that's why these days you hear a man has kidney problem, they have hypertension, and they die and leave the women.
So men have kidney problem.
Listen, we carry burdens. We carry the family burden, you know, so we have to pay. And then also, let me say this, then I can. The women, when you get your money, support your husbands. Once you want to be a cooperative wife, you want to be a career woman and stuff, please, your money is not your money. Your money is still the family's money. God said you are a suitable helper. So you are helping us. You are a helpmate for us. So assist us to achieve the aim and purpose of the marriage, especially nurturing and making the children become who God wants them to be.
Okay, give us your final, your general final words on tidbits. What should be taken home, parenting? What should the parents know in the Gen Z world of parenting?
Let me say this: your children have access to things that you didn't have access to. Technology, the AI, and everything you can think about. Watch what they are watching. See what they are seeing. Listen to what they are listening to. That influences them more than even your voice. But it is important that your voice must be paramount in their lives. Thank you. Your
voice must be paramount. And you mentioned this about AI. Thank you so much for joining us. AI is there. I think the only time from when I began to appreciate AI, I was looking for a scripture to pray with. The scripture that says that for a great door has been opened unto me, but there are many adversaries. That is in 1 Corinthians. And there are times I know the Bible, but I easily forget the scriptures, like where is this one, where is that one. So I was struggling. I went to Daniel. I thought it was in Daniel. I didn't see it. I thought it was in somewhere. I wasn't seeing it. And I just took my WhatsApp. You know WhatsApp now, there was AI. And I said, oh, which scripture talks about? So I quoted the words I just said. And it comes in 1 Corinthians. I'm like, okay, AI. This is what I'm trying to say. This is something I could have called maybe my pastor or a friend to ask, help me, and maybe that could have even helped me learn about the word of God more. But because I have AI, my communication with people is going to reduce. Anytime I want something from the Bible, I just go to AI. That can affect my Bible study if I am not careful, because I can just check something and I feel that I can have a Bible study with AI. And in parenting, when you don't talk to your children more, they talk to AI more. They talk to their friends who also understand AI more. And we want to have young people growing up understand that their parents play a very vital role in their lives and not just paying the school fees and giving them shelter to stay in. We don't want that. I believe this episode has given us so much insight into parenting and how we can help our young people grow strongly and in a healthy manner. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm Martha Inspires. Please have a good night.